All right, all right. We are here. Uh-oh. That's not working. Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel, Clear Waters. Doing another live stream. A little bit unprepared, but we are here. We are here testing your God knowledge. Hello, hello. Yes, 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 yes. We are here. A little bit early today because this is going to be a short live stream. There you go. Good, perfect, beautiful. Same link, yes. Welcome. Let's test your God knowledge. Chat or call in. Nice. Let's pin that message. Perfect, beautiful. And my background music. Make sure it's not too loud. What's God knowledge here? Lion Maldini. We're gonna put your knowledge about God to the test. Uh August Coleman. I don't believe that. You don't believe what? You don't believe in God? You don't believe in any God? So today is gonna be a short live stream, less than 1 hour, because it's gonna be a short one. Oh, August Coleman, you don't believe in a God, in any God? What's wrong with you? Is there something wrong with you? I'm just kidding. So yesterday I made this same title. I put 5 questions testing your God knowledge if you believe in any God. And there was a caller yesterday where we have a very interesting conversation. Yeah, I understand, August Coleman. It's very hard to believe in any of the currently available gods. Yeah, it's very hard. So what I'm gonna do, because today's a short live stream, I'm gonna put on the screen five questions about God No opinions, or try not to give opinions, but that's fine. No preaching, please. Come on, I'm too old for that. Just try to give your best answer to these 5 questions if you believe in any of the currently available gods. And let's see who actually knows what they believe. So, ready? August Coleman writes, I still say blessing when I eat though. Yeah, you're thankful. That's nice. You don't need a God for that, right? Just be thankful for what you have. So the first question, in case anybody wants to call in or through the chat, just try to answer it. Let's go with the first question. Lion Maldini writes, for example, in my culture, people believe in Buddha, but so many twisted branches from that. Yeah, when you believe in a God, you can make the God whatever you want. As long as the God is invisible, yeah, you can make the God whatever you want. That's why I have my own God. It's called Chulum. If you have questions about Chulum, I can tell you about the new God in town. Man who needs cookies. I love to be used as a human toilet. Alrighty then. Luis, what is the question? Oh, here we go. The question number 1 from 5 questions, okay? Is God good? And how would he know that he is good? You can try it on the chat, try to give your answer, or there's a link, Discord link, that you can call in and try to answer that question, because this question is problematic when you believe in a God. There's a humongous incongruency in trying to answer this question via one of these books that talks about a God. Is God good? And how would he know that he is good? Come on. I don't know if you can hear the background music, but I like this music. So Louis, there's the question right there. Lion Maldini, August Coleman. Man who needs cookies. Go find some help, man. What's going on with you? Try to answer the question. Be serious. We're trying to promote honesty, transparency, and decency, and stop believing in gods, because the beliefs in gods are going to destroy us, destroy humanity. Lewis writes, if God is the accumulation of everything that's good as an abstraction, then he is good. How would anyone or any God know that he is good when there's no evil? So there has to be something opposite of him in order for him to know that he is good, right? Thank you, Louis, for trying to answer the question. Very problematic. God is an accumulation of everything that's good. I don't know where you got that from. I never read that in the Bible. Probably you're making that up. I call this fitting the God, trying to fit the God in the answer. Jackie Van de Merwe. I'll call you Jackie. Hi, Jackie. There's a question for you. Is God good, and how would you know that he is good? This question presents a problem for anybody that believes that God is good. I'm gonna explain to you why, if you haven't noticed yet. So let's give it just one more minute, just in case someone wants to call in or try to answer the question via the chat, which I'll be happy to read it out loud. So in the meantime, in my point of view, believing in God presents a huge problem for humanity. Lewis writes, I'm not sure I understood the counter argument. Yeah, in order for God to be good, there has to be an opposite. So God must know evil. Where did he get this knowledge from? A person very respectfully called in yesterday and he said, well, because God knows everything. He's, omni-intelligence. Still, I think he has knowledge about evil. Where did he get it from? How would you know that there's goodness if you don't have the opposite of it? So that makes me think that there's a possibility that God knows about evilness. It is most likely a fact because then he decides to create humanity with the possibility to do evil. Because we are not gods. We're not God's competition. We don't create. So we cannot create evil. We can choose whatever God offers us as tools to be human beings. God didn't give us wings in our backs, so we cannot fly. We cannot just choose to create wings and start flying around. Lewis writes, what deviates from God's essence? What deviates from God's essence is evil. Yeah, sure. Where evil come from? Because as far as I know, the only creator is God. There's no two creators. So God must have created evil and have knowledge about evilness. In the same track, probably that helps to explain why Satan, which was an angel that fell from heaven, turned evil. How is it possible? Satan is not a creator. He's not a god. Some people say, well, because people choose to do bad things. How is it possible for a human being to choose to do something that God didn't create? This is a problem for the idea of the good God. If you have a good God, that creates imbalance and something doesn't add up. Something is not right. God is either good and evil at the same time, or I don't know. Of course, in my case, I'm talking hypothetically because I don't believe that the God in the book is real. He's a character in the book. But for you guys or anybody that believes that the character in the book named God is real, it's very hard to believe that God is real in my case because I have thoughts. I can think and I can reason. And God, in my point of view, cannot be good. Not possible. The universe will cease to exist. If God presents only one side of the equation, then he's not God. But anyways, I would dedicate more time to the questions if someone calls in. If not, I'll press on with the second question, which also presents a problem for anybody that believes that this God is good. Oh, Lewis writes, I think that the theist argument is that humankind's ability for self-determination and thus their ability to go against God's commandment is where evil is. That could be a theist opinion and point of view, trying to explain and trying to feed the idea that God's still good and the bad ones are humans. But we do not create like God. We are not competition. We don't create evil. We can only choose what God gave us. Can you define good in the context of this question? You see, I don't play the game of the Bible. I don't play the salvation game. This is like, you're asking me like, Javier, how do you define a field goal? Hey, we're talking about real life. We're not talking about football. I don't define life as a field goal. Because probably you learn these stuffs about good and evil, you know, with God, because there's good and evil and demons and spirits. Then to try to keep connected the God with your reality, you have to bring the book to everything you do in reality. You do it because probably you believe that the God of the Bible is real. I don't. So when I talk about real life, I don't talk in the sense of the Bible. So someone asked me, are you a sinner? No, I don't care. I don't care about your definitions. I don't care about the way you see life through the book. It doesn't apply to me. I don't need a God in my life. I define situations like you call good. I define it from a different perspective. Is this whatever is happening that you define as good or bad? I define it as, is it beneficial for me or not? Is this going to hurt someone else, impede their freedom, affect negatively their health to the point that probably they want to affect negatively my health back? I don't want that for me, so I will not do it to someone else. I don't need a God for morality. The question here, apart from this one, is not if the God that you believe is real or not. The real question is, why are you needing a God in your life? What's going on? Can you tell me about it? Because there's an emotional layer to this God belief. There's something emotional attachment to the God, because believing in the God has emotional rewards. Let's proceed with question number 2. Unfortunately, Lewis, today I cannot stay very long. Otherwise, trust me, we could spend 4 hours here tonight. But let's go with question number 2, which presents a humongous problem for the God of the Bible. I'm going to read your last message here in regards to the first question. I see where you're trying to go with this question, but seems incomplete. Yeah, probably we can dedicate more time to that. But my first question presents a problem for a supposed omnipresent, timeless God, omniscient and omni-intelligence, cannot be good. Has to be complete package. Otherwise, there then is not a God. Let's go with question number 2. What was God doing for eternity before he created humanity? Because this question presents a big problem for the God of the Bible and the other God too, from Islam too, and the Buddha and the other God. Any of these gods. What were they doing before they did whatever they did to supposedly create humanity? Remember, I'm talking hypothetically because I'm referring to a character in a book. But if you believe that the character in the book is real, I don't know how, but if you think that the God of the Bible is real, what was he doing before he created humanity? Because he is eternal. We're not talking about 100,000 years. We're not talking about 100 billion years. We're talking about infinity. He's always been. Can you get that in your mind? So suddenly he decided to stop in time, like, let's stop and create humanity. And let's stop whatever I was doing as a God and put my entire energy to see what they're doing and to judge them. Do you want to try answer that question? What was he doing before humanity? What does the Bible said? What does the book said about what was God doing before he decided to create humanity? Because he seems to be very engaged with humanity. Extremely. Apparently, he has nothing else to do. He could be anywhere in the universe or universes, but he's right here in the corner, outside your window, peeking to see what you're doing, if you love him or not. Want to give it a try, Luis? Anybody else? I can tell you what exactly God was doing before he created humanity, even when I don't believe. And remember, please, these are only 5 questions because I wanted to make it short. But there are like, I don't know, 25 questions that I can come up with that presents a problem for the idea that one of these gods is real or loving. But I decided to make it short and just keep it 5 questions. Okay, Luis, if humanity exists in the realm of space and time, then God exists outside of space and time. Therefore, there is not such thing as eternity before creation. Let me take some air, but wait. What? Luis, can you please cite the Bible verse that refers to what you're saying? I don't remember reading this in the Bible. So God is outside of space of time. So when he interacts with you, he has to stop in time in order for you to understand what he's saying and to get his blessings, right? When you pray to him, he has to stop in order for you to get his special favors that he wants to do for you, right? Otherwise, how in the world are you able to have a personal relationship, personal, like person, with an entity that is not here, is everywhere, is outside of time? How are you able to interact? By the power of magic, he comes and goes, he goes infinite and then goes finite. Some magic. It makes absolutely no sense. I can tell you what was God doing before eternity. Before he created humanity for eternity. So what you're saying that eternity doesn't have to do with space and time. It seems to me that there's an incongruency with what you're saying. Eternity is not involved or related with space and time. So he's everywhere and he's nowhere. Right? Phantom X, how you doing, man? I think the traditional conception of eternal means that God doesn't experience time. But, okay, let's say that you're correct. How are you able to have a personal relationship with God? Are you also no bound by time? Or maybe God, that is not bound by time, he gets into bound by time so he can interact with you. That makes no sense. For me, it's like trying to fit the God into the, make it sense into the question. Where do you get this information from, Phantom X? Can you please cite the Bible verse? Or, I don't know, or just this is your opinion? Because I don't remember seeing this either in the Bible. Oh, I missed one part. I think the traditional conception of eternal means that God doesn't experience time. So God is simultaneously creating humanity, dying on the cross, and returning at the end of time, at least from. So yeah, God is everywhere and he's nowhere. Nobody can see God because he's everywhere and you can see him everywhere, but you cannot see it. That presents a humongous problem, Phantom, because I'm gonna throw a wrench on what you're saying. Because Chulum, the only real God, creator of the universe, this God is outside of space and time. He's everywhere and he's nowhere. So I think your God probably is made up because Chulum is the real God. If you get my point. Phantom X writes, his perspective is like God is experiencing a block of universe. How do you know this? Do you have a special contact with God? Does he give you special information? Are you God's favorite? That you're getting something that we're not getting? Because through the many years that I was reading the Bible in church, I never heard this. Are you making this up, or this is what you suspect could be? Lewis writes, so the premise of the question is wrong, making the question void. What was God doing for eternity before he created? Okay, you're right. Let's take eternity away. What was God doing before he created humanity? Yeah, make it simpler. Try it now, Lewis. I don't want to skip any messages. Luis also writes, I haven't claimed to be Christian. Hey, I haven't said that you are a Christian. I say that you might believe in a God because you seem to be in favor of defending the idea that there's a God out there. And it seems to be the God in the book named the Bible. Phantom X 11 writes, nope, this isn't the Bible. It's inferred using classical theism by theologians and 3rd and 4th century CE. Yeah, most of these theologians, they are just making up stories. They are, some of them are just lying. Some of them are just making money. Some of them are just turning to be preachers. There's nothing that points to where this God of the Bible is. So I can also say the same thing, and you don't need a theologian to tell you any of this information. I can tell you that Chulum is not bound by time. So he's eternal, but he's not eternal. He's everywhere and he's nowhere. I can tell you the same thing. I don't have to be a theologian or an expert. I can tell you the same thing, Phantom. And how are we going to determine who is correct? Your God or my God? And if you want to keep testing, you can test your God, this theologian's information, against my God and against the Allah, against Buddha, against any other God. Lewis, my response are still manning a theistic position for the exercise of it. Okay, understood. Understood. Respect that. Phantom X, mine too. Cool story, bro. Darren Fisher, welcome. I don't know what story are you talking about, but thank you anyways. And Louis Wright, I'm not sure how would knowing God actions before creating affect whether God exists or not. You know what I think that God was doing before, let's take away eternity. You're right. It shouldn't be there. What was God doing before he created humanity? I think that probably God was flying around in nothingness, which is also everythingness, but he doesn't have any hands. He's a spirit, so maybe he was a cloud flying, maybe not flying because there's no earth to fly. So he was in some space that our human knowledge cannot understand because he was outside of everything that we understand. So it's impossible for us human beings to understand what was God doing before he created humanity and before he became so interested in what these little humans are doing. These little things the size of a little atom are doing. Because God has infinite size. We'll come to that question in a minute here. So for me, it's very important. I want to know what was God doing before he created humanity, because I have thoughts. I can think and I can reason, and I think that this God was made up and nobody can or couldn't think what story to create about where was God before he created humanity. Yeah, he was just flying around doing nothing. He's like, you know what? I need some friends. I need something to entertain myself. I need someone to love me. There's no one else out here, so I'm gonna create these little beings, the times of size of atoms, and then I'm gonna interact with them, and I'm gonna judge them, and then I'm gonna punish them for choosing the wrong thoughts and choosing the wrong actions. Yeah. And then I put some scheme where they have to love me. Man, what a great idea. That's what I'm God, you know. I'm gonna create this novella, this drama thing where they have to jump through hoops, and then I offer them to have free will, you know, so they can choose to be tortured like a cockroach for eternity or love me. Man, I'm God, man. Oh, yes, I'm God. And if they do something that they mock me, I'll make them pay the price. Man. God did that plan, that perfect plan, before he created humanity. Yeah. So he was flying in nothingness and everything. Let's press on with question number 3. For those of you that are giving answers, thank you very much for being on the live stream, and thank you for attempting to answer these questions, which I put them out there because each of them present a problem for any of these gods available right now to choose from. The moment someone asks, what was the God doing before he created us? Maybe, you know, he's not bound by time, so we don't have the knowledge because we are just mere human beings and we're sinners, so we should not be asking what God was doing before he created humanity. I don't deserve to have this knowledge because I'm a mere sinner. Let's press on with question number 3, which also presents a problem. Just very simple. How big is God? Javier, you see, This is the things that happen when you don't have the Holy Spirit in you. You don't understand these things. God has no size. Guys, God is very small like an atom, and he's very big like the universe, Javier. You don't understand these things. So when we say that we have a personal relationship with God, it's because we have a personal relationship with the flowers, with the clouds, with other people, because God is everywhere. Trying to fit the God to whatever question people put to you out there. And if it's not in the Bible, try to make it up. You know that guy, Wes Huff? Man, some people are learning from him. If you don't have an answer, just make it up, man. Whatever. Don't look bad. Don't make God look bad. Just make whatever stuff sounds like, yeah, God is there. You fit it. Maybe God is the size of your and my body. And human beings are like the size of the cells in our body. So when you have a personal relationship with your cell, I love you very much, cell. I think the God of the Bible is made up. It doesn't make sense. He's big and he's small and he's invisible, but you can see him everywhere. You trying to pull a fast one on me, the God is invisible. I cannot see it. So you can say whatever you want and it cannot prove you wrong. But you have a problem because I also have another God that is called Chulum, and he's also invisible, but this is the real God, not yours. Yours is fake. Mine is real. Oh, Louis, size is not a quality of God. Man, be careful with what you say. Are you implying that God does not relate or does not have any relationship with size? Careful. I think God gets upset very easily when people offend him. If God is God, he should be all the qualities that are there to exist, and the ones that don't exist are also his qualities. So you saying that God size is not a quality of God? Also, can you please refer to me which verse in the Bible, which chapter says this, or you're making it up? Are you listening to Wes Huff too much? Wes Huff, man, he doesn't know something, he'll make it up and try to fit the God. Lewis also writes, because he's outside the material realm, only the material can have size. How do you know this, Lewis? You and me have to talk. You gotta tell me, where are you getting this special knowledge? Are you one of those God's favorite ones? Are you getting a special information that I never got through the many years that I got on my knees and accepted Jesus, repent from my sins? Never got a special message. But you and all those God influencers in YouTube seem to always be getting special messages from God. Why? Size is not a quality of God. How do you know this? Because you are a sinner. I'm just playing with you. You don't have the knowledge to be saying what God and what God is not. And if you get yourself wrong, careful. God doesn't play around. You say something about God and you are incorrect. You know what happened with people that when they are incorrect? Barbecue. So maybe when you go to the judgment day, God is going to say, like, hey, do you remember when you said something that I was not, size was not one of my qualities? You remember when you said that? And you say, yes, I remember. Lost my microphone there for a second. Go to hell. You got the wrong answer. And this God does not allow this type of mistakes. Lewis also writes, no, that comes from the premise that space and time had to originate from outside of space and time. Size can be defined by the space that something takes up. It seems to me that in one sense, Lewis, you are 100% correct. But in another point of view, because we don't know if you're right, you're just making this stuff up. You do not know these things because you cannot prove any of these things. That comes from the premise that space and time have to originate from outside of space and time. Size can be defined by the space that something takes up. So, when the Bible says that we are made in the image of God, we don't have size? Which one doesn't have size, God or us? Because then we're not made in the image of God. Image, in order to have an image, you're going to say that there's no space and time to have an image? So your sentence opens a whole can of worms that I can just easily throw a wrench in it, in your gear, and tell you that what about the Bible when it says that we're made in the image of God? So God probably is the same size as you and me. Probably he's not that big. Or maybe he, through the power of magic, maybe the Holy Spirit flaps his wing, and then, God changes size. He goes like, he's big and he's the same image of us. I'm trying to understand. I'm not making fun. You see me laughing? No. Lewis writes, so I got it outside space in particular, then he has no size. I think you're wrong. We're made in the image of God, and we do have sizes. So go check on this answer, please, and fix it, because it has problems everywhere. How big is God? Is the size of a sentence in a book. God, a character in a book. I don't see any God anywhere. Nowhere. I've never seen a God. Not even in all the years that I was a believer and spent in church and reading the Bible. I never saw a God. Never felt him. Never. Nothing. Never smelled him. Never touched him. Well, it's logic. Lewis writes, well, it's logic. Both your arguments and mine are derived from logic. So no need for evidence beyond the logical proof. Not so fast, Lewis. You know why? Because you seem to come to conclusions. I don't. I'm asking questions. Questions. 5 questions. I'm asking anybody out there, expert in God, expert in the Bible, or one of those God influencers that always getting messages from God, to answer any of these questions. I'm promoting to question the God, to be honest, to have transparency, and to have decency. It's very hard to get any of these when you believe in a God. I can prove it to you. Let's press on with the next question, because it's going to be a short live stream. Let's go to question number 4. Here we go. This is a good one, man. This presents a big problem for God. This is especially with the God of the Bible. How many souls are in heaven and hell right now? If you want to make it in another way, how many souls or people, whatever you want to define it, is God loving right now in heaven, and how many people is God loving in hell because he's loving them very much in hell while they're getting tortured? Come on, Louis or anybody else out there can answer this question, or anybody of those God influencers that always are saying that God revealed to them. What is God revealing to you about how many souls or people are right now in heaven and how many are in hell? If you want to go like more in depth with this question, how many souls or people that are in hell right now are good people? And how many in heaven are bad people? Because being good or bad does not take you to heaven or hell. Go read it in the Bible, in the book. So in order for someone to try to fit the idea of a good God with this question, you're going to have a lot of problems. Luis, thank you for answering these questions, man. I appreciate it. Haven't thought about heaven or hell from the stance I'm in, so not sure myself. Yeah. Probably, Luis, you can, I don't know, contemplate it a little bit, but I can tell you more or less how many souls are there. How many people have walked the face of the earth? 1 billion? 10 billion? 100 billion? Maybe. So maybe right now heaven is overcrowded. How big is heaven? Is infinite? What is the people are doing right now in heaven? Are they flying in the clouds? Are they communicating with each other? Are they on their knees worshiping God for eternity? How many of these people in heaven or souls in heaven are bad people, are doing bad things in heaven? Because we know by what happened to Satan that he was an angel he was kicked out from heaven. So heaven is not all good. It's not full of good people or good angels. Bad stuff also happened in heaven. And definitely, hell is full of good people. Lewis writes, heaven only came into the picture after the New Testament. Before there was only hate before. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it came from. It came from yesterday or 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago. It doesn't matter. There's hell right now. Why your answer like that? It seems to me, Louis, that you're trying to take energy away from the main focus of the question and put it to something else. Oh, Javier, no, the picture of the heaven only came in the New Testament, so let's discredit your question because there's no many people there. What are you trying to do? Was this by accident, or you were designed to focus on something else and not really on the question? This question posed a big problem for the idea of a loving God coming from this book named the Bible. Only by the fact that I'm telling you that there is good people in hell, it should be information enough for you to question this idea that this God is loving. For me, in my point of view, this God is brutal. Brutal. Just making a comment? Okay, just a comment. Man, let's press on with question number 5, because just me thinking that there's good people in heaven right now suffering makes me puke on this God. I really despise. Of course, we're talking about hypothetical God. Remember, I don't believe the God in the Bible is real. I don't have emotional attachment to the God. I don't get emotional rewards from believing in the God. Not anymore. Because I decided to be honest. And in honesty, you don't get happiness necessarily. But at least I don't have to pretend anymore. How do you know there's good people in hell? Because Being good or bad is not a filter to end up in hell. You must read the Bible. Read the Bible. These are not the factors that will dictate when God is going to judge you, if he's going to decide to send you to hell or to heaven. So, in that same sentence, I can tell you that I don't know why people want to get their morals from God, because you can follow God's morals to the T, 100% following everything that God tells you to do as his morals, and still is not gonna get you to heaven. Very problematic. This God is full of questionable actions. Let's go with number 5. Man, this one seems to touch some nerves with people. Where is Jesus Christ right now, and what is he doing? Most likely we're gonna get a generic answer that is not really going to answer the question. Javier, Jesus is in heaven to the right of the Lord, and he's reigning through the earth. That's what he's doing right now. Yeah, can we prove that? No. So please don't say that. You're just making it up. Can you tell really you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? Come on, get some information from here. Hey, Jesus Christ, where are you right now? Are you outside my window? Are you in the roof? Are you in my closet? Are you inside of me? What are you doing right now? Maybe we can convince some people right now. There's a guy in YouTube named Javier doing these clear waters. Probably we can give people information so they can believe more and they can be safe and they can save their family. But apparently, from what this guy is saying, it's understandable that there's lack of information. It's just really coming from a book. It's not really coming from you. There's people that say that they see you, but they cannot prove it. Suddenly they don't have cameras. So it's understandable that Javier is asking questions. He only has a book, and apparently he read it already and still asks questions. Maybe because he has the devil inside of him. Probably he's possessed. He's evil. He's upset at God. Anybody that asks questions about God is going to be evil. Like the conspiracy theorist. Anybody that questions the law, oh, you are a conspiracy theorist. So, where is Jesus right now? And what is he doing? That could help to convince people that God is real. I remember someone told me, Javier, Jesus was last night in my room. Yes, and you know what he told me? I'm like, man, wait a second. Let me get my pen and, I'm recording this. What did he say, man? Cancer? What? Suffering? No more kids without parents? What did he tell you? He told me that he loved me. Oh, Christ. Damn it. Another one making stuff up. So he told you that he loved you. Yeah, he told me that he was my Lord and Savior. Man, good for you. Next. Oh, Luis, you wrote, it was interesting, Javier, but your arguments need some work if you want to argue for the non-existence of God. I wasn't convinced by your arguments. Luis, I don't think it works like that. I'm not going to argue that something that doesn't exist doesn't exist. It doesn't work like that. The character named God only exists in a book. That's it. I don't have to provide any argument because I'm not the one claiming that God is real. Probably we have to learn a few things. They feel more like cheap gotcha against the Christian God rather than argument against existence of a God. Luis, that's because probably you are playing the game inside the field. I'm the guy that owns the game, the stadium, and watches from my multi-million-dollar yacht, watching people beating themselves up while I'm making the money. I am not involved in your God beliefs, which I remember when I was a believer, I could not see outside of the Bible. The argument for God is made from deduction, thus the thing. No. Because you can deduct the wrong, you can come to the wrong conclusion, and that is gonna make you end up in hell. The only thing that you got is a book. You do not have a God. That's why you tell people that you believe in God, which is incorrect. Probably you will be more accurate if you tell people that you believe that the information that you read on a book is talking about what you think and believe is a real God. That's why people say they don't say I know God. I believe in God. Correct? You believe that the data that you read on a book is accurate without having any undeniable proof. Only because of the emotional rewards that you get for being friends with the supposed most powerful being on the entire universe is your friend, and he loves you, and that makes you feel ecstatic, and he's gonna take you from the hands of hell because he's gonna hug you and save you and love you, and you love the feeling, and the feeling is what you are after, not the God. The God does not matter if it's real or not, because you are up for the emotional rewards. You have not been able to find anything on this earth that fills your heart. You find an invisible or powerful omniscient entity that promise that he's going to make you feel good as long as you believe that he is real. The moment you stop feeling the emotional reward, you will start shopping around for another God that does the job. That's called converting. Because as long as you are a human being, you will take action by how you feel, because feel precedes action. Unless you're an extraterrestrial being, then you work some more different way. But your feel is what puts together heaven and earth. It was put together, thought and action. Instead of reading the book and getting this information about an invisible God, how about we study about how we human beings, how we work? That probably people will not take advantage of us if we understand our humanity. And probably also we stop blaming other people for our own created problems. Believing in God will destroy humanity. The God of the Bible will destroy humanity. This God is evil, violent. Of course, I'm not telling you that. I don't believe in the God. Come on. This whole thing about the Bible is made up, 100%. I can take you for a spin and show you the reality, man. One point about being a multimillionaire sitting on my jet watching the game? Not yet. All I'm saying is that I don't play the salvation game anymore. Not interested. Thank you very much. I don't play the salvation game. Not interested in your God, in your belief. No. But please, if you can point to the God, I am here every night from Monday to Friday waiting for someone to provide some information that can point me to the God, because I'm not very happy without a God in my life. The only thing that I have is that I don't have to pretend. That's the only thing that makes me happy. Anyways, I don't know if Lou is still there or anybody else. But yeah, I probably, Louis, if you get to listen to this, I don't know if you're still there. The thing is that it seems that I'm not engaging too much into debating the possibility of God being real and being loving. Why? Because if God is real, we should not be debating about it. Just by the fact that we have to debate the existence of the God that you believe in is real, I think it's telling enough that probably that God is not real. Because once I'm done with you, I have to also have the same conversation with the other guy that believes that his God is real. And I tell them, hey, just by the fact that we have to be having this debate about if your God is real, doesn't that tell you that maybe the God is not real? What, do you think that I hate God? I don't want any God in my life. I hate God and I have something against them. And I'm a person without morals. I want to take people away from God. I'm working for the devil. No, it's just that I have thought. I can think. Yeah, that's a big problem for any of these gods. Gods don't like people asking questions. Gods don't like smart people. They don't. They like you to be in the book. Read the book. I'm in the book. Stop asking questions and trying to be smart. Stop listening to that Javier guy from Clearwaters. He's working for the devil. Like Manny Pacquiao says. He went to, God showed him hell and he said that hell was like... You can watch my reaction video from Manny Pacquiao's saying that that God showed him heaven and hell. Of course, he never got to the part of explaining what heaven looked like. No, probably because he didn't think it was very important. Anyways, Luis, you're gone. I don't know. Hopefully you'll come back another day to have some interesting conversations about this idea of believing in God, which I tell you are problematic for humanity. Problematic. We can be honest. And for those people that are asking me if I'm an atheist, no, not. SMR. I'm out of here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow around this time with my next live stream. Hopefully tomorrow someone calls so I don't have to be reading the chats. Thank you. Have a great one.